Welcome back to a new episode of GRAFFTV. Tonight, we have a notorious Billboard killer in studio. With well over 10 years in the streets, this vandal is well known for his dangerous spots, creative style, and rising to the top of Los Angeles infamy. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming a risk taker, a thrill seeker, and one of the most active and creative writers in the streets today. It's the one and only BUGE BAMC. Yeah, man. It's great to have you in the studio, bro. Welcome and thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing terrific. And yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. I've been excited about this interview for over a month, so thank you for joining us, bro. First of all, I want to ask you, did I pronounce your name correctly?
You were on the point, but you were just missing the little E at the end. BUGE.
BUGE.
Yes.
Thank you. Is that the most asked questions you ever get? How do you pronounce your name?
Most definitely.
Do people usually pronounce it wrong?
All the time.
Thank you. Before we get into the origins of your name, I want to start from the very beginning, actually. Cool. First of all, where are your parents from, man?
We're from El Salvador.
Were you born here, or were you born in El Salvador yourself?
I'm straight from Los Angeles.
Nice. What part of Los Angeles did you grow up, man?
Come from the jungle.
I'm not sure what that means. What was that? South Central? South LA?
Talking about over there in Crenshaw.
I see. Is that where you grew up most of your life, or did you move around?
Nah, A1A Valley.
How old were you when you moved from the jungles to the valley?
What's it called? Man, I think I was like 10.
What were your parents like growing up? Like, what was your family like? Can you describe your family atmosphere growing up?
I had no father, only had a single mother. She was never around. Mainly always hustling every day. Yeah, and I mean, and once you say Salvadorian, I mean, that should explain everything right there, you know? It's a very heavy individual right there.
Growing up in the valley, can you describe what it was like in that area growing up back then? Was it a good neighborhood? A lot of trouble on the streets? How would you describe growing up in that area back in the day?
And that area, so around that time, this is like right when gangbanging was ending, you know? So it was always very dangerous to cross from one side of this one street to the next one, which we had to walk through, cover a couple gangs that were in the neighborhood, but mainly the main one was BVN. And yeah, so there's this one street. It's basically, it goes down from Calvert all the way down to Victory, and you know, it's kind of like you're playing a game of, you know, tag or fucking, you know, freeze tag or some shit. Like you're trying to dodge the gangs and shit like that, you know. Even if you went to the main street trying to avoid all these other gangs, like when you went to the main street to catch the bus, nah, man, they were still right there, you know, ready to strap up and, you know, shoot anybody that was representing another gang, you know. So it was definitely, as much as people think that the 818 is not dangerous whatsoever, that's just lit, man.
Wow, sounds like every day was a mission to walk down the street, right? Did you ever encounter any gang members hitting you up or stopping you?
Oh, that was like an everyday thing, bro. I mean, if it wasn't the streets, you always had someone's big brother or someone from a different high school coming to, you know, like chase after the little crews that were, you know, in the schools and stuff. But yeah, I mean, shit, it was an everyday thing. Like we can talk about this all day, you know. Fucking, there was a lot cracking on that days.
Usually when things like that happen, young guys join another gang for protection. How did you manage to stay out of the gang life, or do you dabble in it for protection?
To be honest with you, my mindset was in a whole different genre. You know, I mean, don't get it twisted. You know, a lot of the people that I was associated with, they were from, you know, gangs and shit like that. But I was always on the artistic side. The thing is that I didn't know what graffiti was, you know, until terminologies kick in and you start understanding, start defining what certain things are. You know, to me, I thought graffiti was one of like the coolest things ever. I thought it was art at first, you know. Little do I know it's fucking graffiti, and it's the most illegal thing as well, you know. And then I see over here gang members also, you know, writing on walls. I thought it was the same fucking shit, you know. I was just a fish in a fucking small pond. Little do I know, it's a fucking big ocean out there, you know. And yeah, I think since, man, I was little, man, I've always been, you know, drawing or doing something creative. And I think that's also something that I think a lot of people have noticed from me, and has kind of kept me away from, you know, danger.
Do you show any artistic talent as a young kid? And at what age do you start showing it, when people start to see your talent?
So it's been a everyday thing since I was young. You know, always loved the coloring books. I was always drawing on everything, bro. I had no idea what art was. It was just one of those things that, you know, just, I think every individual has that spark within them, you know. And I think the minute, let's just say, if we separated art from graffiti, you know, because I thought graffiti was art. And one day I was in elementary. The stepfather I had at the time, I guess he was associated with graffiti. One day, you know, those notebooks, the ones with the little clear patch, you know, you could stick a paper in. He drew my name. I was mind blown. Due to the fact, you know, since, you know, you're in kindergarten or preschool, they teach you how to write your name, you know, in handwriting or, you know, basic style. So to me, that is just like, whoa, what the fuck? So I take that shit to school. Now everybody's fucking mind blown. And now everyone's asking me, because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I fronted. I said I did it. Now everyone's asking me, hey, can you draw my name? And it kind of just went from there, you know, and I had no idea what I was doing. But it was like around, third grade that, you know, I've been intrigued by letters. Can't say the graffiti culture, because I didn't know what that was till like ending in middle school. It was just something, I guess I was into typography, you get me? So.
Your stepdad introduces you to letters, but in your family, does anyone else have a background in art or have any talent as you do?
Not that I know of. I mean, I can't really sit here and say someone else is into, let's say, artistic with paintings, but I can definitely say there's definitely different creative venues that other people are intrigued with within the family that I don't even think they understand that it's also as creative as what I am doing as well.
Now, your stepfather introduces you to letters, but do you recall when graffiti first enters your consciousness and you see it on the streets? Do you remember who you're with and where you're at?
Bro, there was no way to dodge graffiti. I could always remember driving up the 101, you know, from the 170 down to fucking the 110, you know? And I mean, to be honest, I think that was like literally the first time that my stepfather, when he drew my name, that was the first time I seen graffiti. But then the next time I seen it, and this is when I kind of really knew it was illegal, or just wasn't something that, you know, wasn't appropriate or kind of open to society. It was when they came and vandalized the school, because it actually came out on the news. And the thing was that every kid in that school, due to the fact that my booklet had my name on it, I was like, hey, yo, come check this out. What does it say? Because nobody can read that. And I'm over here throwing out names, acting like the cool kid, like, oh, yeah, it says this right here, But that was my first interaction right there. But now when it came to illegal graffiti, I think it was one of those things, once you're kind of like in middle school, you're just walking from school to home, and everyone's just kind of writing their name, and the thing is, like I ain't know what we're doing. We're just a bunch of kids, just writing on shit, trying to see who can do the crazier spot. I didn't even know what the hell we're doing until I think someone introduced me to a TSL video, and I seen other individuals doing this, and I was like, oh shit, this is what this is. And kind of connected the dots right there.
Who are you learning about this with? Do you have a group of friends? Are you all sharing information? And what are your thoughts about graffiti when you do finally see it? Are you excited about it? Do you get instantly addicted to it and want to do it yourself?
So it's like a bunch of friends, and I think everybody kind of brought something to the table, it's like around the time, like hip hop is being introduced to you, like sort of in clothing, and this is back then before like YouTube and shit like that. This is like MTV, we're looking at all these things, and obviously someone has a bigger brother or bigger cousin or someone in their family that did graffiti. So, kind of just hearing, for what their big bro or someone's big cousin was doing. So, I'm just watching all these videos, and I think until someone kind of like, showed me, I think we're in class or some shit like that. We're looking at 50 millimeter, that's like my first experience right there, And this is like back when you had a computer lab and shit, fucking on these fake MySpace, trying to fucking send shit to your other friend. And I think that's when I was kind of going in and out of the list, of all the names and crews that were on there. But the one that always caught my attention right there was always BAMC, which is the crew that I'm repping right now, I think it was just like the name or something like that. It's just like, damn, and I remember always seeing that tag also as well when I would go up towards the 118, like towards Pacoima or some shit like that, so that always stuck to me right there, but once again, like I had no idea this shit is graffiti. To me, it's like some artistic ass shit, and for some reason their graffiti kind of separated from everyone else. Like it wasn't the same, like the rest kind of had this like kind of quick illegal look to it, while theirs was kind of like fucking OCD, fucking perfected and fucking well done. Feel me? So I think that's pretty much, I think, the earliest I could think of.
Definitely. BAMC has to stop with their own. No question about that. Now, BUGE. Did I say that correctly?
we could go with this. It's all good.
BUGE. From this, when do you first pick up a marker or a spray can and want to tag on something? What influences that decision?
Once again, it's being around friends, and markers. I mean, it was always passed around, everyone always this is when, like, decals were around, and fucking you got the Sharpie markers coming out, instead of the permanent ones. You got you're shaking them up, fucking everyone over here like catching black books and shit. But it wasn't until like one night, actually went out with my boy Mort, 57, rest in peace. Him and a couple other individuals that we were in middle school, and I remember we had like a sleepover and shit, and fucking, this is when they were playing all these like graffiti videos and shit, like war movie videos, also the TSL videos and shit, and there's one thing from doing murals and then illegal graffiti. Now, as much as I love art and I love, clean styles or clean walls and everything like that, something about the illegal action of graffiti just like, and I think it's due to the fact that, I think all of us as kids were some type of troublemaker. If we weren't individuals building little ramps to jump with our bikes or fucking jumping off a tree or something like that, I think this was a time, I think my mother was very careful with me, so I wasn't really able to do much. So seeing that shit right there just kind of like was a whole different ball game in that, until we went out that night, It was like 2 a.m. and we're like, 14, 13 around there or something like that. We're just walking the streets of Van Nuys, climbing up random shit, hitting our first billboards or fucking first little walkouts and shit like that, Once again, I'm just a fish in a pond, I don't even know what the fuck adrenaline means. That's the first time I get that experience right there. And then after that, it's like, oh shit, like, this is fun, like first my mind was like, oh my God, we're gonna get caught, fucking, we're not supposed to be out in the streets. We're fucking little kids, fucking, we have curfew. And now it's like, yo, what the fuck? Let's have another sleepover next week. Let's fucking do this shit again, And I wasn't always the person to rack. I don't think I've ever been someone that steals, but definitely all the friends would always be going to Osh at the time or Walmart, stealing all the dollar cans or any paint they had, and it was a over every weekend type of thing.
Wow, sounds like you were causing major wreckage at 14 and 15 on the streets, man. But you also mentioned another legendary name, Mort 57. I still see people hitting him up all over Los Angeles, man. His memory is still strong. Can you please tell us how you first meet Mort? And why is he still celebrated up to this day?
Definitely, he's a fucking real one right there. That's why he's fucking celebrated. Realest one, Valley King right there, And everyone has a different perspective of Mort. I am, and him. I think the first time I ever, I'm not gonna say his real name, but I just hear this name, and his name really sticks out there, And so this kid, I remember we had the same class. I had no idea who he was. I just see some kid going fucking crazy on his desk, bro. Apparently, this kid fucking ate or drank Hell's Bells. So he was walking down home, walking from home to school. I guess there was Hell's Bells on the fucking trees or something like that, and homie put it into a tea or ate it. He was tripping balls, and I just remember like this kid was like fucking a superstar or some shit like that, because he had the whole school just like all like, oh my God, what's going on? And he's just like getting carried out by the paramedics and the cops and shit, and he's just fucking yelling at everybody like, hey, get the fuck out of my room, And that was my first ever time seeing Mort. And then it's crazy, from the circle we were all in, I get him introduced by him, and him and another individual, they were like, I guess, more advanced than me, like they already had experience painting on the streets and everything like that. So we kind of like went from there, and little did I know, he lives down the street. But I can go on for days, talking about Mort, and that's one individual right there that definitely helped me excel. I've always had a lot of fears, many fears, and he helped me conquer a lot of those. First kid to introduce me to roller paint as well, like my mom even knew this kid, she would pick him up from fucking jail, and she would always question like, where's this kid's fucking parents, like why aren't they picking him up? She would take me and him, we're like literally at the age of somewhere around the 15s, My mom's dropping us off in the middle of the fucking freeway, and if it's not that, this kid is fucking convincing me to fucking steal my mom's car and fucking, you know, drive around the city. And yeah, those are my memories with him, you know. He taught me a lot. Like, if it wasn't for that kid right there, I probably wouldn't, you know, be doing the things that I'm doing today, you know. I just remember being up on a roof with him, and you know, the first thing I see are fucking red and blue lights, and I'm over here like panicking, you know, like, oh shit, like, get the fuck out of here, you know, cops. He just sits me down. He's like, chill. He's like, they're all the way over there. You think they're gonna get out of their car, jump over that fence, fucking come up to the roof and do something? They're gonna give up in 5 minutes, my boy. Just watch. As he said, gone. Just the way he carried situations, you know, with no fear. Shit, I've even seen this kid, you know, like, break through windows, you know, if the liquor store clerk wasn't gonna let him fucking walk out with beer or some shit, you know. There is no way you can contain this individual. I fucking love that, you know. It was like total opposite of what I was, you know, and it was a huge inspiration to me. And once again, it's like his actions and his the way he carried himself, it was just something I was not used to, you know. Everybody always played it safe, and this kid did not whatsoever. And it really sucks to know, you know, he left us at a very young age, you know. And I wish I could have seen him more. And as of right now, I think that's as much I could say about Mort, you know.
Hey man, thank you so much for sharing those special stories with Mort 57. I appreciate you sharing that history with us, bro. Now, you mentioned that you were on the streets at 14 and 15, causing a ruckus, being a menace. Where does your mom think you're at late in the hours of the night? Where do you tell her you're going?
I don't think she had any idea, because at first she had no idea, because she was sleeping at the time, you know. She had to you know, get a rest before work. And yeah, it would stink out at night. And if not, you know, fucking another friend would cover for me, you know, like, let's say his mother would cover, you know, like, hit up my mom and be like, oh, he's sleeping over, but really we're gonna go do something else. Until I think it came to a time, I think I took her car, you know, and she was always positive with graffiti. At the same time, she was just kind of scratching her head, like, is this just a phase? But then one day, I think I had paint on my hands, and she looked at the steering wheel, and we went to go take a picture of one of my spots. And she kind of connected the dots, and she was like, wait a minute. You took my car out last night? Because if you did that last night, that color is on my steering wheel. And, you know, I got burnt out, you know. She's like, why are you driving around without a permit or a license or anything? Like, you know, you could get caught for this shit, you know. And after that, she was just kind of like, yo, you know, just let me know when you want me to drop you off. I'll drop you off somewhere, you know. I was like, all right, for sure. But my mom's always... you know, we didn't always have the best relationship. But one thing I will never forget about this woman is the fact that I was out with a couple friends. So these individuals do not paint. They're just high school buddies, you know. And they wanted to, you know, go out with me and support me, you know, fucking as I hit, I think either we were on the side of a freeway or we were at the train tracks. It's one of those two. I remember my friends get out the car. My mom grabs me. She's like, hey, no matter what, I know damn well you're not going to listen to me. But if this is what you really want to do, and if it's not just a phase, don't just do this shit and do all these little chicken scratches like everyone else does. If you're going to do this shit, be serious about it, and I want you to be the best at that. You know, and that really always stuck to me, you know, like, damn, like, I've never gotten any positive feedback from my mother, you know. She was exactly how people bring back how their childhood was, you know, with the chancla or the motherfucking, you know, the bell or something. that lady has never said anything positive to me. And she was just like, you gotta go hard, you know, like if you're gonna do this, put your heart into it and be the best you could be at it, you know. Don't just do this just because it's the cool thing to do, or this is just the time in your life that you're doing this. Go all in, you know. You're risking your life and your freedom for this, then go all in. Make sure you be the best at it, you know. I remember even one time, not that long ago, I think it was actually, rest in peace, Kobe. Right when he passed away, I remember I hit the bridge right there off of Western and the 101. And we're out eating, and I showed her, you know. I was so excited, you know, because this is the first time I've ever hit a bridge on the freeway from one end to the other, you know. I mean, maybe there's a couple little feet missing, but yeah, you know, and we passed by, you know. I'm stoked with it, you know. My mom just looks at me like, in Spanish, you know, the fuck were you doing up there? I'm like, doing you know, a tribute to Kobe. Yeah, I see that. That shit looks whack. I'm just looking at it, you know, like my ego was up here and it just dropped down. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? She's like, one, I know damn well you could do better letters than that. Second, those letters are not even structured right. Do that shit better next time. I was like, I did not know how to feel. I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, you know how hard it is to hit a fucking bridge? And at the same time, like, I think she's, you know, like telling me, complimenting me, like, hey, I can see you do better, you know? So I was just kind of definitely hit by a brick with that, you know?
Great stories, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. First, I want to know, after your mom gives you that first compliment, does it energize you and charge you up to hit the streets even harder? What's the result of your mom's words?
So when it comes to that, I mean, definitely, you know, I mean, to this day, I mean, either she'll send me pictures of, you know, something that she runs into, or, you know, like whenever we're out eating, I definitely show her something that I'm doing. Most times she does not like to look at what I am doing, you know, especially when it's up high or something like that. She's like, I just rather not, you know. And but she is supportive, you know. It definitely, you know, it definitely is in the back of my head all the time, you know. Whenever, you know, sometimes I think we all slip up. There's times I go out, you know, and I'm just bullshitting, you know, but then I, you know, in the back of my head, you know, I try to think, yo, remember what your mom said, you know, like, so I try to separate myself, like, is this really worth hitting, or should I go back to the drawing board, sketch something out, prepare myself, and really attack, you know, sufficiently. So definitely her just kind of saying what she did say in the past has definitely always made me kind of step back and make sure, like, yo, am I doing this right, you know? I mean, I love, you know, winging it all the time, or, you know, kind of being very compulsive when I'm out painting. But definitely sometimes you gotta kind of just step back and calculate your next attack. It's, you know, it definitely hits harder when you do that, you know? As much as it feels good, you know, fucking winging it and fucking just kind of amazing yourself, like, damn, I got it like that. Sometimes it's good knowing exactly where you're trying to head to, you know?
Definitely, man. Another question I have about your mom is, bro, you're everywhere. You're on top of Los Angeles. You turn your head, look up in the sky, we see your name on we see your name on several billboards. Does your mom know just how big you've gotten and how well known you are in Los Angeles now? And what does she say about your current level of fame?
Definitely no, you know. It's especially, I mean, my personal, I guess, relationship with my mother, no matter what, she'll always see me as her son, you know. And then again, I don't know what she sees in me, but I know we definitely don't ever speak about the ranks that I'm in the graffiti. I don't think I really even talk to anybody about that, you know, nor do I ever mention it. If anything, that's like the last topic I think I ever try to talk to anybody about, unless we're on some creative, intellectual conversation or something like that, you know. If anything, I try to stay away from graffiti, or I don't even like to tell anybody what I write, you know. Most times, most people don't even know what I write until like half a year in. They're like, wait a minute, you're this individual? What the fuck? How come you never mentioned anything, you know? And I'm like, it's not that important, you know? If anything, I'd rather people know me for the real me instead of fucking knowing me for some shit that comes out on social media, you know? Graffiti is graffiti, you know. At the end of the day, that's an alter ego right there that comes out at night or whenever I fucking, you know, get that compulsive fucking mentality to fucking go out and paint. In reality, I am who I am, you know. So if anything, I'd rather have a bond with my mother, you know, and not worry her anymore, you know. I'm fucking, you know, right now she doesn't got any gray hair, so if anything, I'd rather just like fucking, you know, see how she's doing, you know, conversate with her, laugh, fucking, you know, I'd rather just do that, you know. And I think I try to do that with any other person that I know, even if we are both in the graffiti game. I'd rather just have a human experience with that individual, you know, especially as I mentioned my my boy Mort that passed away. You know, I think that right there definitely hit me very hard, because that was the first time I've ever experienced or knew someone that passed away, you know. And I want to make sure I don't take time for granted when I'm with an individual. I understand that not everyone is forever, and that we all go through certain phases in our life with other individuals. So take advantage and enjoy it with them, you know, and with whatever it is that you both are into, you know, together, you know, when you're with them.
Definitely, man. Wise words there. I want to take a little sidetrack and talk about your Bridge Overhang where you celebrated Kobe's life. First of all, how long did it take you to complete that? And how many cans do you take up there with you? Do you have a backpack? Do you plan it? Or is it just spur of the moment as well?
That one, it was planned, but then unplanned. And then not only that, this is like kind of like where things were kind of going from one paint to another. And what I mean by that is, this is when you know, I've always used cheap paint, you know, to paint with, and I've always used the good paint for all the cleanups. And with that one, instead of using good paint, I use Rust-Oleums, painter's touch. I'm not saying they're bad paint, but when you're doing a you know, a size that big, it's hard to fill in with. And I think I went through like more than like 8 cans of fill-in, you know, and it was taking forever, especially when you're trying to use yellow as an outline. It comes out very watery. Then my good people at Loops fucking shot me some paint. I literally only used the 1 can for fill-in with a fucking that orange fucking cap that's the fattest one, and then an NY fat on a yellow, and their yellow is fucking amazing, butter as fuck. If you guys haven't found a good yellow, Loops carries that shit right there. And so the first night I went with painter's touch, and yeah, I was there for like 3 hours or something like that. And then I think Caltrans pulled up on me, so I had to shake the spot. And then I had to take a break in the middle before the next day, just due to the fact, you know, this were the times where it was very windy, so I was not trying to fall off that shit. So I went the next day, and then Loops kind of gave me some paint, and literally within like an hour I was in and out, you know. So I think that's when I was like, wait, what am I doing, bro? Like, I should fucking always just use good. If the paint is coming like that, why not just always fucking use good paint? You know, I think I'm like the most stingiest person when it comes to wasting paint. Like I want to make sure like every can I use, it's used right.
Were you happy with your Kobe tribute, and how long did it run?
Definitely was not happy with the Kobe one, especially after hearing what my mother said about it. You know, if anything, that's the one individual I care about. You know, her opinion about, and definitely hit right there. But it was dope that a lot of individuals, because you know, it's not just graffiti; it's also a tribute. There was a lot of individuals that were definitely shocked to see that, you know, especially on the 101 right there. And there was a lot of individuals kind of how do I say it, basically just admiring, or not just, you know, appreciating, you know, especially at that timing. So yeah, I mean to me, once again, it goes down to the actions. You know, as much as I love Kobe, especially from growing up, just the idea of going from one end to the other, you know, and, you know, just executing it, just due to the fact that, one, I'm afraid of heights. A lot of people do not believe me. I am terrified when it comes to heights. But the thing is, my ass is also an individual that does not like to be afraid of things, you know, and if I am afraid of it, I will fucking go head first, you know, in attack mode, you know, and I need to know that I conquered my fears, or, you know, accomplish certain goals that I have, you know. And one as well, I haven't seen anybody really go from side to side on that bridge. Once again, do not, you know, attack me for that one. From my experience, I have not seen anybody attack it like that on that specific bridge. So it was mainly the go aspect of it. That's what I honestly was more hyped about, known to the fact like, hell yeah, I fucking went up there, I did it. Even though, you know, Caltrans did come at the same time, because I had to prepare my mind for something like that. Maybe other people, it might be smoother for them to just go up there and hit it. Not for me. I have to do certain things to prepare my mind to like mentally go correct before I hit it, you know?
Definitely, man. That's a hot spot everyone in Los Angeles always sees. Just an incredible spot that you caught. But I'm really curious, man. Once you're up there on that ledge, what's the key to not falling? Because from a spectator's point of view, it feels like there's no room for error up there, man. One wrong move, you know, like, what's the key to going out there and confronting your fears?
So I can't speak on behalf of others, but I can definitely speak on within for myself, which is wearing headphones. Believe it or not, music kind of distracts you from all the noises you hear from the car. Believe it or not, it becomes like a hypnosis, you know, especially with the lights hitting the bridge and it reflects back into your eyes. It definitely, you know, that, and especially the sound. It's kind of like how people get hypnotized with the whole ASMR thing, you know. Freeways do that to me, you know. It's very relaxing, and I don't know how many times I've always fallen, not fallen, but almost fell from a bridge, and I'm glad certain friends were with me at that time. Yeah, music definitely helped me out right there. And then I can't also not front. I mean, at that time, I was also involved with certain substances that obviously would knock the fear out of me, you know? So, you know, it's music, and obviously those substances at that time were helping me out. But now I guess it's really just meditating, you know, because it is a form of meditation being up there, believe it or not, you know. You're fucking, because at first, like the first 10 minutes, you know, like you're kind of thinking to yourself like, why the fuck am I up here, dude? Like, you know, I could just one wrong step, I'm dead. Or like, I'm a sitting duck up here, you know. If a cop sees me, like, it's a wrap, you know. And then you start thinking of every outcome, you know, like some Final Destination shit. It's like you're over here thinking like how you're gonna die, and then you know you kind of gotta shake that fear away, and you know, and then you kind of like get into your little zone, and then after like those 10 minutes, it's kind of like you're free, bro. You know, like, and it's like the best feeling in the world because you know damn well like everyone shits, everyone eats, everyone sleeps, and there's about more than 100 million people doing the same thing you're doing. But I know damn well at that time I was the only person in the world doing that right there.
You're definitely known for being a high stakes risk taker. Hitting all these dangerous spots, do you ever leave a note or some kind of message in case anything goes wrong? Do those thoughts ever enter your mind?
What do you mean by a note?
Like, I love my family, sorry, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, in case,
All right.
just asking if that crosses your mind.
Definitely not to others. My mother, yes. You know, we have different perspectives, you know, and to her it would be, I think, a terrible thing if I were to pass away for doing something like that, you know, but I have tried to convince her that if I were to die this way, be happy for me, you know, because it's not my first rodeo, you know, experiencing death, you know, and there's another way it was going to end up, you know, and that has given her PTSD right there. And from that experience right there, it reminds me like, yo, like, you're about to go out this way. Fuck that, that's some cheap shit right there, my boy. Like, fucking, if I'm fucking pass away, like, it makes me think of death. And at least now I know, like, okay, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go hard as fuck. So I have, not gonna lie, fucking given my mother a picture of me that back in the days my homegirl AC took of me, you know, and I wrote a little thing, like, just to remind her, like, yo, like, if something ever does occur or happen to me, like, be happy, like, celebrate me happy, like, that's how I'd rather go out, you know? Because no matter what, no one can escape death, you know? And I think that's something that a lot of people do not want to think about. And it's good to at least let the loved ones in your life be aware that something can happen, and to just be happy and continue on, you know? As much as, you know, I would want people to be, you know?
Definitely, man. Thank you. I also want to back up on, you mentioned about substances when you would go painting. Why did you stop? Well, first of all, do you smoke or drink before going painting? And do you feel that your art comes out better or worse when you're on a substance and painting?
Been through every substance there is. I mean, I cannot say about psychedelics. That wasn't always my main thing right there, but it wasn't like I chose to be on substances, you know? I mean, alcohol and I mean, smoking weed, I mean, that's like something that I think everybody kind of goes through, you know? And I kind of like kicked that out of my life, and I've always been a kind of a straight edge person. It wasn't until, you know, I broke pretty much all my toes, and like, you know, I was in a cast. And, you know, obviously, like, once again, it goes down to like that little thing I said about in middle school or elementary, you know, it's like you're still a fish in a pond, you know, and I don't know much, you know, I don't know what fucking pills are. Yeah, do I know that, you know, they can cause, you know, fucking withdrawals and shit, and if you're not on that shit, you know, like, you can't live without it. And I thought, you know, the doctor, you know, fucking, you know, fucking went to school for years, knows exactly what he's saying, so hey, if you take this, you know, like, I'm helping you out. But definitely I had a very hard trouble with painkillers, you know, and I'm glad right now that I am clear from that. Did it enhance my creativity side? I do not think so. I mean, it definitely made me more compulsive, and like it didn't give me any fears to, you know, achieve whatever it is that I wanted to do. You know, it's just like do. And now that I sit back and think, you know, I'm like, man, I wish I would have taken my time and really calculated exactly what I was gonna do, instead of, you know, kind of like how most people just whine it, like, you know, like, oh, people just like, you know, drink a beer at the end of the day, or fucking sip wine or some shit like that. You know, mine was a pill. And now, I mean, I wish I would have kind of changed a lot of things. I think we all do. And let's just say at that point in time, you know, everyone goes through phases, and I'm happy for it, because at the same time, I'm not a very social individual. And, you know, obviously, as we spoke earlier, it's like technically my first personal interview, you know, without the crew. So it definitely helped me conversate with other individuals, you know, and at the end of the day, I'm not regretful for anything that I've gone through in the past. So I'm thankful that, you know, whatever phase I went through at that time in my life, it happened, and I appreciate it. And now it's like, of course, anybody would want to change the past, but I'm not living in the past. I'm living right now, and at the end of the day, I'm good right now, you know?
Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing those words of encouragement. Pills are definitely a major issue in our world today. But you mentioned something about breaking all your toes. How does that happen? Can you please share with us, how do you break all your toes?
Simple story. I used to work as prep slash kind of like sous chef. Walked into the walk-in. I was trying to grab some ingredients for something I was making, and they had all the kegs stacked up. And I don't know, I guess one of them was, you know, just about to fall, and of course, boom, just falls right to my toes. And I've been so fortunate to never have breaking anything when I was young, besides a tooth. That's the first time I've ever experienced, you know, breaking anything. And you know, when they say you see stars, oh, you definitely see stars, you know? So that shit hurt. And that shit was painful. So that was my first experience of ever dealing with that amount of pain and breaking something.
When the keg falls on you, does it stay on top of your foot, or does it roll off?
No, it's there, and I'm like having a hard time, you know, pushing it off because it was full. And I just remember tilting it and getting my toes out. The funny story about that one is the fact that I went 2 weeks just walking without even knowing they're broken. And I couldn't walk, and I remember at nighttime I couldn't take the pain, you know, and I hate going to doctors, you know, and I hate doing all that wait. So I go get x-rays, and they're like, hey, you broke all your toes. You can't be walking. You have to be in a little boot, you know, because they're like, where the parts are broken, they're like, you can't cast that, you know, so you got to be in a boot, you know, keep your, you know, your foot elevated. And yeah, you know, that's the first time. I think it was like a couple Norcos they ended up giving me, you know, and obviously, you know, kind of walked up the ladder right there, you know. And yeah,
Man, right now that you're mentioning your toes, is that what caused the prescription to painkillers?
correct.
Is that what led to it?
So, I mean, I started seeing the little loopholes, you know, fucking going into the pharmacies and the doctors, you know, and it's a very crooked system. But at that time of my life, it definitely was beneficial, you know, in a financial aspect. But, yeah, I mean, that was, you know, I think I've fucked around with alcohol, weed, and everything like that. Nothing has ever hit me like that shit, you know. I think we all have different brains, you know. Like, I trip out when other people are on Xanax, you know. Like, I can't even take a quarter of that shit. How the fuck are you on that, you know? I see other people fucking can down a whole fucking tequila bottle, you know, or two of them in a night. And, you know. But when it came to painkillers, like, I guess that was mine right there, you know. So yeah, it's a trip, man.
Hey, we're glad to hear you're okay now, man. Thank goodness. Another fascinating thing you mentioned was listening to music while you're up there painting. What type of music do you listen to? Can you share that with us as well?
It really depends on what mood I'm in, you know. But believe it or not, I think I've always been opposite to certain things. Like, let's just say when I first started painting, I would outline first, then fill in, you know, because I didn't know how to outline, so I can make all the mistakes at first. And for some reason, heavy metal music calms me down. And then there's times I listen to opera music, and believe it or not, that fucking gets my brain going. So it really depends on what mood I'm in, you know. And then not only that, fun fact, you know, if anything, the style that I guess I do, there is a certain a couple individuals that I know say that that is their style. I really don't give a shit whose style it is. All I know from my perspective is I've been listening to heavy metal music since I was a kid, and I've always been a fan of the cover art, and also to certain comics, you know, like Spawn, you know, and just, I don't even know shit about Spawn. I just know I like the way it's illustrated and fucking drawn out, you know. But definitely my style definitely comes from heavy metal music. I've always liked the way that they structure it, especially, like, let me just say, like the Metallica one. Like, to me, that's so fucking iconic, yet so simple, and just the way it's balanced and arched, you know. And yeah, man, fucking, I've always loved the cover arts and the way the t-shirts used to look. So, you know, I was always trying to mimic that. And then not only that, the music I would listen to. So, you know, I'm trying to make my style kind of look as the sounds do in the music, you know. So I'm kind of trying to put that into a booklet, you know. I don't know if I'm doing it right or not, but that's technically where I guess I'm kind of doing the certain style that I'm doing.
Wow, man. Thank you for that great insider information right there as to your style, bro. I appreciate that. Now, I want to back up a little bit. You mentioned that you're tagging in junior high with markers. But when do you start practicing burners and throw-ups? What makes you take that leap to the next level?
So since pretty much I first started, basically I've always been into hitting either backpacks or black books, you know, and with all the Prism colors, all the fucking decos, all the Sharpies or whatever. I've always been kind of like a bookworm in the beginning, you know. I was always into styles, you know. This is obviously before I started venturing into the streets, you know, and I was trying to craft the letters, you know. I was trying to learn every single letter, how to bend them, and how to do pretty much just learn the anatomy of a letter, you know, what makes a letter, and you know, try to play God's role and learning on how to bend them in my own way and structure it in my own way. And as always, there's always people, you know, that have their opinions or have something to say, you know. And I just remember hearing, you know, oh man, that dude don't even get up. He can't even do what he does on a book on a wall. And me being a, you know, hothead at the time, I got to prove everyone wrong. So, you know, I first started off with going to the GRAFF lab, okay? Boom, pulled it off. Then, obviously, it guys kind of goes in steps, you know. Fucking first, he can't do what he does on books, on walls. Boom, do it on a wall. He only pays the GRAFF lab, you know. That's legal shit. He can't do that shit on the street. Boom. Ah, man, he only hits the valley, bro. Fucking come down to LA. Boom. oh man, you only paint fucking walls that are on the bottom. Come up to the fucking ledges now. Boom. You know, and then it just kept going on and on. And I think, as even though you're asking me one question, I do want to say I'm thankful for every individual that has doubted me, that has talked shit, that says a bunch of shit, because at the end of the day, you're just throwing gasoline into the fire, my boy. And that's fine, you know, like I'm about to make the best fucking carne asada you've ever fucking tasted, you know? And I appreciate that no matter what. I know other people will let those certain words that other individuals, you know, say, get them out of character. And if anything, I'm more appreciative of the individuals that doubt me or say negative things towards me, because that has pushed me to go harder and harder every single time, you know? And I'm thankful for that, you know? At the end of the day, I am still appreciative and thankful for individuals that say positive things to me. But at the end of the day, I've always realized that the more positive things that people say to you, the more you get comfortable. And a lot of people don't like feeling uncomfortable, which is, I think, all I've ever known. So when I feel uncomfortable, it definitely helps me accelerate to the next level. So I'm thankful for all the individuals that always have something negative to say, you know? And maybe this is just me being petty, but I love fucking making them eat their own words, you know? Like, oh, that's what you think about me? All right, that's cool. You know, I'm not the person to ever say something negative back to another individual, because at the end of the day, you know, like, talk is cheap. You know, I'd rather walk it, you know? So I'm gonna let you run your mouth, and I'm gonna go do it. And exactly, I'm sure there's probably gonna be certain individuals that are gonna have something negative to say about the interview I'm having right now. The good thing is that there's a comment section, and there's this is on YouTube and Instagram. So yeah, there's a comment section, you know, that they can leave their opinion at, you know. And at the end of the day, after I'm done with this, I'm gonna continue to excel with my crew and within myself to be the best that we can be as we live at this moment right now.
Thank you, man. Wow. It definitely explains your current status and why you're everywhere. Thank you very much for sharing your motivations, your personal motivations. Back then, when you were starting hitting the streets, why did you do it? Why did you write? What was your motivation? Were you trying to get fame? Were you just bored? Can you explain why did you write back then?
Once again, the beginning, it was always about the craft, you know, understanding the anatomy of letters and trying to find that, I guess, perfect structure, the balance and color palette, you know. Into graffiti, there's so much. It's not just one thing, you know. And I guess while I was trying to achieve that and also, I guess, master being on the streets, fame comes with it, you know. I can't sit here in front and be like, oh, you know, I wasn't trying to, you know, get attention in the beginning. You know, all of us want that recognition or, you know, positive energy from your peers, you know. But then I see what fame brings, you know, and once again, I still don't even want to, you know, mention fame. At the end of the day, it's just a bunch of likes, comments, and pictures, and just a bunch of fucking opinions. And I try not to focus on that shit. That's why I think even right now at this moment, I try to stay away from Instagram. I try to never look at my phone. I rather kind of go back. I think, see, once again, here it goes, me going back the other way, you know. It's fucking like, I kind of now wish I was living in the 90s, and I'd rather just make a call off of fucking the Pacific fucking phones that were on the corners and shit. But yeah, it's always been about the craft, you know. And I think definitely once attention definitely comes, it can either sideswipe you or make you, you know. And it's sad to see a lot of the writers that come, and, you know, I guess everybody has an expiration date, and a few people have fallen because of fame, and it has also made other individuals as well, you know, if they use it to the best of their ability. But it's always been about the letters. And now, as obviously as I've been painting more on the streets, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, but yeah, you know, obviously now it's like, oh shit, like I want that spot, I want that spot, I want that one, just either due to certain cross streets or not. It's the architecture or the landscape, you know, and the more different the spot is, I think the better. And I think I've always tried to challenge myself now on the way I hit the spot, you know. Everyone, I guess, has their own way of hitting it, and I want to see what's the best way I can hit that to the best of my ability. Like, should I what color palette should I do? What style should I do? Should I improvise with the spot and maybe do some installation, you know, or like shit. I mean, I was gonna say some other things, but I can't say those. Those are you know, secrets right there that are coming in the future. But yeah, so now it's all about even spot selection, you know, and trying to see if, you know, how it's gonna turn out, you know. And yeah, so, and that's all about fucking trying to master this shit. I don't even care if I don't make any money off this shit, or fucking if I have to struggle, you know, to fucking maintain experiencing and learning more. That's fine with me. I don't know. I you know, I think my soul is imprinted into graffiti now that I fucking got mad love for this shit, you know. I fucking, you know, I always think back to that little interview fucking Atlas had on that YouTube, you know, where he's like, you know, like, I don't give a shit about the graffiti culture or anything like that. Like, in reality, I just like the act of the illegal bombing and everything like that. Like, that shit, I feel that shit, you know. Like, I try as much as I can not to talk about graffiti with my friends, and unless we're trying to help evolve each other, like maybe, you know, structuring and everything like that. But definitely, like, don't hit me up, or like, don't fucking invite me to paint if we're gonna be chilling. Like, nah, let's get the fucking action cracking, my boy. Let's make this wheel turn, you know. Let's fucking see how far we could take it tonight. Let's see what kind of growth are we gonna get into today, you know. That's what I'm about now.
Interesting hearing the thoughts that go through your head when looking for a spot. Incredible, man. Thank you. For our younger viewers who are trying to get to the level you are, man, would you recommend practicing on paper or hitting the walls to practice? In your opinion, what do you think is the best route a young writer should go?
I wouldn't know exactly. I mean, I guess everyone has a different reason why they come into the graffiti game. And if it's going to be bombing, I would just say fucking hit everything and anything you can, you know, and try not to use a sketch, you know. I actually, you know what? Doesn't matter what the fuck, which way you want to go. All I'm going to say is fucking, at first, enjoy the process. Don't think about, always work on your craft, but if you're gonna go out on the streets and you're gonna try to make this shit come to life, never go with a sketch. It will never come out the same, you know. And I always think of this shit where if you plan something and you don't execute it right, you technically failed. So if you technically go without a plan, technically you're never failing. So don't go to sketch, man. Just fucking enjoy the process. Have fun. If somebody fucking goes over your shit, let it fucking be, dog. If anything, they probably needed it more than you did, you know? Yeah, man. Just fucking enjoy this shit. Fucking, you know? Fucking, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of others, you know? But if it was me, if I were to tell my younger self something, I would be like, yo, man, like, just enjoy having fun with your letters. Mess with them. Do whatever you feel. Do not let this person or this person get into your head, you know. Just do what you feel like doing, you know? Don't worry about other people's opinions. Fuck everybody else's opinions. Everyone has an opinion, and nobody knows what the fuck they're saying. If anything, whatever makes you happy and makes you want to fucking grow, do that. I don't, you know, everyone is just different, and I say just do what makes you happy. That's it.
Now, BUGE, I want to know about your infamous name, your legendary name on the streets at the moment. Can you please tell us, how does the name BUGE come into your consciousness? How did you get that name?
That name, I think we've gone through a bunch of different names. As in, speaking when I was around with my cousin, he was like the person that would challenge me a lot in the beginning, you know, because he was definitely way better than me, but for some reason I would always come back and throw a little razzle dazzle into something that would just end up taking him out. And we always wanted to master all letters, you know. It wasn't just one name or, you know, fucking two. It was a bunch, you know. We'd like choose out like, oh, let's see who can do, I just say fucking GRAFFTV the best, you know, or fucking let's say who can fucking do fucking, I don't know, shit the best, you know. Like it was always, you know, just trying to be better than one each other, you know. And that name, he had that name right there. I remember we would always draw the alphabet and kind of just pick out which letters we liked the most and try to see if we could always come up with like the best structure. And he found that name right there, and I was like, fuck, I like that shit. Like, you got the B, so you can kick that fucker out towards the left. Then you got the U to kind of keep it subtle. Then you got the G to fucking like balance it out with that fat circle right there, or however way you want to go. Then you got the E to like, you know, balance the U right there. And then you got the R to fucking, you know, over exaggerate on your fucking kick, you know, or like, it's either the R or the S sometimes, you know, there's not enough space. Technically, it was originated with the R, but then I kind of added the S, and I was just like, oh, there we go. Like, that's for, you know, like spots that are rectangular, and then the R is either for spots that technically there is no limit. I can fucking, you know, let loose, you know, and yeah, he went with a different name, and then not only that, he stopped doing graffiti, so I kind of just took that name, and once again, like, it wasn't, there was no intentions nor any vision of the future of me being, let's say, exactly at this moment, or doing everything that I've done in the past. It was just literally just, I love letters, bro, and this is when I was hitting books, and you know, fucking how fascinated I was just, you know, opening the page, you know, and like, oh shit, who did this, you know, how the fuck did he do that smear, or how did he do this effect, you know, that's what it was about back then, you know. I guess I just ended up running with that name. Has it always been the one name while I've been on the streets that I've done? No, but people end up finding out like, wait a minute, that's his style, like that's him, you know. So definitely, like, I'm stuck with that. Like, all right, like, it doesn't matter if I chose this name, that name, or this name, if I got bored of this name, because it does happen at times, you know. There's only so many ways you could do your name, you know, especially if you're stuck in the same perspective. So it's always dope to see how other individuals would do my name, and I think that's usually how I try to get inspiration as well now. Like, kind of ask a homie, like, hey, you know, like, I want to see you do a tag, you know. I just want to see different ways of, you know, like seeing my name, you know. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much right there, you know.
What does your cousin say when he sees you pick up the name that he was using for the alphabet? Does he say anything to you?
I don't think that was the one that you know, not bothered him, but shocked him. If anything, I think it shocked him the moment we were painting with certain individuals that we looked up to when we were kids. And I think it shocked him when I took him up on his first billboard, and he was like, oh shit, we're really doing this, man. Like, You know, like as kids, you know, we would watch all these videos, and you know, it's crazy to see when people fucking talk about the things they're gonna do, and then they actually do successfully do it. You know, and you know, I remember taking them up there, and this is a time where I was changing the billboards. You know, like there were certain things I couldn't do while I was up there, so I would take them off. You know, and I learned this method through auger. You know, and my boy Krabs, you know, one night we went up and we took one down, you know, and then after that I was like, oh, mind blown, like, oh shit, you could take them off, like, hell yeah, fucking, I want to try to see if I could do this and this on it, you know. And I remember one night he's helping me out, and he's just as terrified as I am of heights, and he was definitely shocked, like, shit, dude, like, we were just catching black books, you know, listening to music, and now we're fucking taking down billboards and putting them back up. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I think that's what he was more shocked about than the name, you know. If anything, he don't really give a shit about the name. If anything, once again, like, I mean, I could give up this name any day and I wouldn't even care, you know. Most people, I don't know how many times people have told me, like, oh, you know, keep that name, you know, fucking, you've worked so hard and you have such a status with that name. And it's like, who gives a shit, bro? Like, I can leave this name any day and I can make another name, you know, fucking with the same status. Or if anything, I'll probably feel more free knowing the fact that nobody knows who I am, and I could probably fucking just get away with doing certain styles, you know, because now it's like, if you do one whack thing, people are on that shit, you know. They'll fucking point you fucking out, you know. So there's no hiding from the cameras, you know.
You've definitely brought the name to a legendary level in LA. But what does your cousin say? Does he know how far you've brought the 4 letters he initially was sketching? Does he know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think just the fact that, you know, we used to watch all these videos, and you know, I used to say, you know, I'm gonna do that. And I think a lot of people always say they're gonna do something, they really don't. And to know the fact that, shit, he really did exactly what he said he was gonna do, I think that definitely shocked him right there. And he's definitely aware of where I'm at in life, and you know, I think I've always heard nothing but positive feedback from him, you know. And I think he just loves the fact that, you know, I can't say chasing dreams, because technically chasing dreams is like saying you're chasing something, you know. I guess accomplishing those dreams, you know. And those were dreams that I had when I was a younger individual, you know. And you know, it's a great feeling to know that the people that were there in the beginning are able to see that, you know. And now that I'm in, I guess, this certain age and time in my life, now I'm trying to accomplish other bigger goals and make sure, you know, a thing that always pops off is, yeah, my cousin, and then also my mother. Make sure that they're able to see the next step, you know. I think my biggest fear at this point in life is losing my mother, you know.
Going back to your mother, does she know that you're here doing this interview right now?
Not at all.
Will you show her this interview once it's complete?
I don't think I will end up showing her. My sisters will end up showing her. My sisters, I think, they trip out, you know, either friends or, I think, you know, it's always on the Explorer. And they'll show my moms, and they'll be like, hey, look what your son did, you know. And my mom's will always be like, yo, take that shit off. I don't even want to know what fucking crazy event or what he was doing. I'm sure this time she'll be like, what? Like, you did an interview? You don't even like talking to people, you know?
BUGE. Everyone knows your name. It's all over Los Angeles. Does your name have a meaning? Or is it an original name and has no meaning?
I don't think there is any meaning to it. Not that I know of. I know technically I did BUGE because I went with, I like the way huge sounded. And back then I used to go really fucking big. Like, I do not know how to go very small. And I just really like the letter B for some reason, you know, and it just ended up with that, you know, and once again, yeah, it's all about I guess just the letter structure and what I'm familiar to, and I really just like those letters right there, you know. And yeah, no real meaning to them, really. Honestly, I mean, I guess I've added some value to that name, because in reality, it's nothing, you know. But now I guess it's just like anything that anybody puts value into it, you know.
Definitely. BUGE is you. Now that you have your legendary name, you also join a legendary crew, BAMC. First, I want to ask you, had you ever heard of BAMC before joining them, and what had you heard of them?
So, BAMC, yep, definitely. One of the first crews that caught my attention, you know. Something about the way we do it and the way they were doing it before always caught my attention. And I always wanted to get into the crew, you know. I've been asked by a few individuals at the time to get in their crews, but I was very, you know, like, yo, that's the crew I'm gonna fucking get in. Like, I know it, you know. Who would have ever thought, you know? And
How do you encounter someone from BAMC? Who do you first meet?
So this is right when I started getting up, you know, like I was already hitting spots, and this is when, like, I was using roller buff to, like, go as big as I could, you know. I didn't have the financial funds in order to create what I was trying to, you know. And once again, I don't like stealing and shit, you know. So, you know, it's whatever either people would give me or fucking you know, I would get at the time. And you know, at that time in part of my life, BMC already had done a lot of things. I didn't know a lot of their history yet, but I know at that time in my life, the boy Krabs, that dude was fucking killing it, you know. And he has such a unique and very interesting style. I fucking, you know, I would see him up everywhere, dude. And who would have known, you know? It's crazy how the universe works. I was trying to get their attention, you know. I didn't know how, you know. And I was painting in an alley one day. I was right before I got into this crew, I've asked a lot of other major crews if they were willing to, you know, take me in. Crazy thing is, all of them said no. They're like, nah, man, we do not see you evolving or being able to keep up with us, you know. I didn't have the experience yet. So I was getting turned down left and right, you know. And kind of just gave up on shit, like, all right, fucking, you know, that I'm gonna go hard for myself, you know. And it was a hot ass fucking day, and it was like one of those days that was like 115 degrees outside and shit. And everybody else was out, either went to go get a beer, food, or fucking, you know, doing whatever substance it is that they were doing at the time. And I was clear-minded at the time, and once again, you know, I didn't give a fuck how hot it was outside. I was like, yo, I gotta go hard. Like, I gotta make sure these fools know, you know, they're gonna regret fucking, you know, not accepting me into their crew. Little do I know, I turn around, there's an individual looking at me. And he's like, what's up, man? I'm like, I like your shit. I was like, thanks, man. He's like, you know, just asking me how old I was at the time, and I was still in high school, you know. And he just asked me, what's your name and everything. And the minute he told me Krabs, I was like, oh shit. Like, yo, man, I love your work, man. And fucking, you know, this is the dude from the crew that I wanted to be, you know. And, you know, the crazy thing is, I didn't even asked about the crew, he actually, you know, like, hey, you know, I got a couple crews if you'd like to get in, you know, fucking, let's keep in touch. The minute he drove off, I get a message from him, hey, this is you, right? I was like, yeah. And then he runs into another spot, hey, this is you, right? He's like, oh shit, you're out here doing some big ass shit, you know? So he linked me up with another individual from one of his other crews, Homeboy Sense. And that dude kind of showed me around LA. And then within a year, you know, I guess he hasn't really had time. He was very busy at the time. And we went out painting on a freeway. We did a divider at the time. And, you know, he just told me, like, yo, man, like, how would you, I can't get you into this crew that he was in. He was in 2 crews at the time. He's like, I can't get you into this crew, but if you like to, he's like, this hasn't been done before. And he's like, I'm going to get you into BMC just like that, you know? I was like, shit, I would fucking love to. And I just remember we're walking on the side of the freeway, you know, leaving the dividers. He's like, don't let me down, bro. He's like, don't make me regret my decision, you know? And I just remember always hearing that, and in the back of my head, you know, like, remember, like, what he said, you know? And I always made sure, like, yo, I'm going to take it above and beyond. And I guess, you know, at that time, that crew, you know, we were the crew that everybody thought was dead or was not going to make it, you know? There was a lot of members before me that have left for other major crews, you know? And our crew wasn't really, you know, like, bonded. And it's dope to see, you know, we went from nothing to something, you know? And, yeah, man, fucking, I hope I just made I hope that I have succeeded and made sure that I never made him regret that decision, you know?
Incredible story, man. How did it feel when Krabs invites you to join the crew that you've always wanted to be in? Do you celebrate?
I think my celebration was to continue going hard and trying to start climbing up the ranks that they were in, you know, because believe it or not, there was a percentage of the crew, maybe half of the crew, one was wondering, why him? And then a lot of them were like, he's fucking whack. Like, he should not be part of the fucking crew, you know? Nobody, I guess, saw the potential yet, you know? I was still evolving, you know? And, you know, I had that, I guess, the particular style that I'm doing right now. But I kind of went a different way at that time. And I had this, like, kind of, like, illustration pattern look. It was, like, kind of like a fancy look with, like, dots, zebra prints, and all this weird shit. So, you know, they're like, this does not match up, man. You know, and a lot of people doubted me, you know, and once again, it goes back to exactly what I told you earlier, you know, whenever someone doubts me, it fucking makes me want to, like, all right, I got you, man. Don't trip, you know, I'm gonna make sure you fucking, you know, take those words back. And yeah, I guess 2014 is when everything started fucking cracking, bro. Krabs started inviting me to look out for him in certain spots, you know. So I guess in a sense I was taking notes, you know, like, okay, this is how this is done, this is how this is done, you know. Nobody really ever showed me exactly how to do certain things. I just watched. And when I had my own time, I went to go try to execute exactly what it is, you know, I wanted to do and then what I saw. And yeah, like I said, 2014, that's when shit really started, like, kind of pushing through. Like, we started coming out in the front covers of magazines. We were getting asked to do, I guess, interviews. I mean, it was mainly just answering questions. It wasn't like a full-on interview like how we are right here. There was actually one interview, and it was mainly a crew thing, but I wasn't really there yet. Yeah, a lot of doors started opening, you know, and everybody was just like, yo, where the fuck did this crew come from, you know? But we've been around. And, you know, some of the, I guess, sickest motherfuckers you guys have seen in the streets have come from this crew, or somehow, some way, we're affiliated with this crew, you know? And once again, like I said, we're that crew that everyone thought we were supposed to be, wasn't gonna make it. But now I guess we're that crew that I guess somehow, some way, you're gonna fucking see us no matter what. And we are that fucking big that we are nationwide.
Definitely, and you're a huge part of elevating that crew and bringing it to prominence once again. I also want to ask about Krabs, another legendary figure in LA graffiti. What does he say now about how far you've brought the name? Does he share with you any thoughts or feelings about your current status? Because you've surpassed his expectations.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't even know how to answer that right there, just due to the fact that he's one of those rare figures you get to see once every year, you know? It's hard to communicate with the individual, and I understand he has a big plate. And no matter what, I'm inspired by that guy right there because, you know, like, there's no excuse. He somehow makes things happen, you know? And to know how big his plate is, it inspires me to know that, like, man, if he could do it, I could do it, you know? And once again, there's different things that inspire me. Definitely graffiti is one of them. And he, I guess in life, the way he moves or kind of handles things inspires me, you know? Like him and also homeboy Yano is one of true inspirations and one of like the people I can say were my big brothers, you know? And have always looked out after me, you know? They might not be around all the time, but when I do need them, or when I least expect it, because they randomly just pop out, you know, and like, I got your back, you know? Those are the, I guess, say the two individuals that have truly helped me grow in graffiti.
Thank you, man. I want to backtrack a little bit about the crew, BAMC. When doing research, I found out that the C doesn't stand for crew. It's actually, your crew is actually a 4-letter. Can you please let us know what the original meaning of BAMC is, and why do you guys choose 4 letters instead of the usual 3?
I can't speak on behalf of why it's a 4-letter crew, but I know we're the best 4-letter crew there is, and it technically stands for burning all my competition.
Nice. How long had BAMC been around before you joined? Do you know?
I think like literally the ending of the 90s, or like around like the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. I know there was a couple people in, and the original founder and fucking, you know, head of BAMC is a copy from BAMC and K2S. I know when I first was, my attention was caught by them was, you know, obviously I can go back to that heavy metal style that I was kind of, you know, very into and fascinated by. And once again, also, you know, I'm just a fish in a pond, you know. I don't even know that there's a river, there's lakes, there's a whole ocean out there, you know. And me, in my head, I thought, you know, oh, I'm the only person doing this type of style, because, you know, there's this style of like funk, or the little arrows, or, you know, there's, you know, that clean cut fucking funky style that I guess a lot of individuals do, you know. And I didn't know much, you know. I wasn't very aware of history, but I know that, I guess, the main person that truly stood out to me, and that I can personally say enhanced this particular style, because like I said, I guess there are certain individuals that will say that that is their style, but the one that I think was inspired by the most is my boy Solve. And he took that organic, or that mutated or aggressive style to a whole different level that, you know, caught my fucking attention. And I was just like, yo, I want to ride side by side by that dude, you know. I can learn a thing or two, you know. And to know now, like, yo, like, that's the boy right there, you know. And he's always encouraging me, or always throwing out words of wisdom. Like, that dude right there is like the wizard right there of letters, you know.
Nice, man. I want to ask you, do you remember first putting a BAMC next to your name? And what was that like? Had you been practicing those 4 letters?
The thing is like I knew I was gonna get into it, but it's kind of like this interview. I knew it was coming, but yeah, I still wasn't prepared for it, And the way they do their tags is fucking hella sick, especially Copy, man. Like that dude got fucking hands, and then not only that, he has that iconic, like everyone always does like a tag next to their fucking name, but he does that whole fill in and outline, then border outline, like a small burner of BMC side of everyone's names, or like right next to his characters. And yeah, even just the way people do the BMC tag is fucking sick as fuck. And mine over here looking all fucking like handwriting and shit. So at first, I mean, I was stoked, like fuck yeah. Like I got exactly the crew that I said I was gonna get in is exactly where I got in. But definitely I wasn't ready for the whole style change and everything like that. I think even to this day, I'm still trying to master how to put letters by my name, because there are certain individuals, if you do your name, you piece it up, the tags can really fucking disturb your piece, and what you did. And there's some people that know how to execute putting, let's say, other people's name and their crew by their letters, And yeah, I'm still trying to kind of like, what's the best way to go, There's sort of the individuals that kind of do like the X and then they put the BAMC, or some do the B very big and crazy, and then the AMC fucking, nice and subtle. There's so many different ways, and I mean, I'm enjoying, trying to figure that, I guess, missing link right there as well,
Now that you're in the crew that you've always wanted to be part of, do you feel pressure to get up more? To put in extra work? What is that like?
Actually, no, man. Actually, I think it's the opposite. If anything, a lot of individuals, especially my main head, is always telling me like, you need to chill, man. Like, relax. Like, you proved yourself. I think that's enough, And no, I just like, no, I haven't done this. I haven't done that yet. Like, I need to do this before someone else does it, because that's like my pet peeve right there, knowing that someone else did something that I technically had in mind. And after that, like, it really disturbs me. But at the same time, I like it because then it shows me like, stop sleeping on shit, But no, I actually don't get a lot of pressure. If anything, yeah, a lot of people just want to know like how my experience was doing certain things or not. Or we're always critiquing my work, And I think a few individuals from my crew already know that. Don't tell me the good shit. Tell me the bad shit, because I'm trying to grow. And if you're trying to grow, you need to know all the bad shit. And I think a lot of people have a hard time hearing the bad shit, They always want to hear the good shit. And it's like, bro, anybody could tell you anything you want to hear, all these positive things. Like, no, tell me the real shit. I want to try to better myself, So, no, they don't really ever tell me to keep going. If anything, they're scared that I might fucking die from this shit, If anything, I disappeared for like almost 2 years. I barely came back on February, and it's sad to hear that a lot of people thought I was dead, And they already know I'm gonna do whatever it is that I want to do, but they just hope that I'm more careful every single time that I go out there, because they know like there's no fucks given,
In fact, as you mentioned, you took a break from graffiti for about 2 years and just made your comeback in February. Why did you take that break? Can you share with us? And why do you make a return?
So I was at a very high peak right before I disappeared. And I guess I would say, me personally, if I were to say, I was not ready as much as I thought I was ready to take on these certain responsibilities that I had no experience ever doing in my life, And a lot of things were definitely getting in the way that I didn't learn about maintaining certain things. And then not only that, learning how to have a peace of mind, you know, or looking or searching for peace of mind, you know, because this is when I was actually on social media, you know, and that can be very fucking crucial to certain individuals, you know. I think one thing that definitely kills graffiti is definitely social media, you know. It can make people's head get bigger. Not only that, it's an easy access for people to reach you. Not only that, kind of gives out the whole going out and seeing it out in the streets, you know, because it has a different feel to it. And I don't think pictures or videos do justice to certain spots unless you're there in person. And also the reason I disappeared, I guess, you know, this is my, you know, my wake-up call. And what I mean by wake-up call is the fact that I didn't think I would reach my 30s. When I was 18, I told myself, like, live fast, die young. It's all good. Let's go hard as fuck while we're here. I don't see myself growing up or doing all this, I guess, normal shit that society does, you know? So let's just fucking do everything we can right now. Little do I know, of course, I fucking make it to this age and I'm like, oh shit, you know, I should have a plan and everything, you know? Everything's just crumbling, you know, from left to right, you know, fucking, I got people over here betraying me. I got fucking motherfuckers that don't want to fucking pay up. I'm losing jobs left and right. Then I don't know where fucking, you know, depression hits, so fucking, you know, my substance abuse fucking kicks in. Yeah, I fucking literally had no fucking money in my fucking pocket. My fucking car breaks down. Pretty much kind of like homeless and shit. So, yeah, I was in a huge little, you know, fucking juggling everything, you know, and fucking got lost within that. And I just said, fuck it. Technically, the year and a half before that, I told myself, you know, like, if shit doesn't work out, fuck it. Like, fuck life, you know? And what I mean by that is that technically, you know, I've always been kind of like an emo, you know, I hated life. Like, I fucking don't feel like living. I want to fucking die. And then once again, it comes down to my boy Mort. That's another story right there. The way I ran into him on a billboard and fucking, you know, that's the spark of, you know, me fucking wanting to live. I was just like, man, fucking, you know, I just let life fucking do its worst, you know? And, I don't know. I just said fuck everything. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a shit about none of this anymore. Like, for all I care, fucking God can strike me right now. I'm fucking ready to go see him. You know. Took a while to get my mind right. You know, I fucking just let go. I don't know what the fuck it was that just sparked into my head. That I was just like, you know what? Nah, fuck this shit. Nah. Like, I'm getting back on my game, yo. Like, nah, I'm not gonna let this affect me. This person fucking get away with that. This fucking go this way. Nah. Fuck all that shit. I'm coming back. Like, I'm a fucking, you know, I strategized everything. Fucking took myself to get help. Took myself to fucking, you know, just fucking get back on track, you know. I was like, nah, this is not the way I'm gonna let shit go. It's sad that it had to happen, but at the same time, I'm fucking, you know, other people would probably be embarrassed about speaking about this shit. I'm fucking stoked about it. Like, I'm glad I went through some fucking hard shit like that. Maybe that's just the way I learn, but that shit just fucking gave me a boost of energy that I was like, nope. All right, first, get myself some help. Get my mind fucking ready. All right, now, just make sure, let's get back on track. Let's fucking make sure nobody sees exactly what it is we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. All right, I'm at $0. How the fuck am I gonna get this amount of fucking money? Because I need to fucking obviously pay for bills. I need to fucking maintain myself and maintain others because I already know it's gonna come, you know? So I had to figure all that shit out. And then it's like, all right, exactly how am I gonna come back into the game, all right? You know, I've always had a strategy where it's like, oh, first you go hit your fucking... your quick spots, you know, like what I mean by quick spots are like either the little tiny spots or the ones that are gonna run, and you want to do those shits all over the city, okay? and it still doesn't make enough noise, but they're everywhere. Then you do the normal shit, all right? This is the shit like people are kind of eyeball too, you know? And you gotta have those scattered around the city. Then the next ones, you start dropping the nukes. And by the nukes, I mean like, those are the fucking eye-opening fucking spots right there. And when you drop those, the next two that you did before that kind of start to present themselves. So now it's like, oh shit, fucking that fool just did that, then that's sick. The minute they leave that spot, guess what? They're gonna run into one of the normal shit. And then when they go to the other side of the city, they're gonna run into one of those small things. So no matter what, all that kind of goes together, you know? And that's a recipe that I've always used since I first started. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's been certain individuals saying certain things, you know, and at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you know, I went down that fucking hole and I fucking was at my lowest. But what's your excuse? I fucking just came back after 2 years and you're still in the same place. I've only been here for a few months and I'm already fucking taking over. So catch up.
Now that you have your name and crew, we start seeing your name, BUGE, in risky locations all over Los Angeles, especially billboards. First of all, why do you seek out high-risk spots to paint? It feels like you're seeking out the most riskiest spots possible across Los Angeles. Why is that?
I think it goes down exactly to what I said earlier, which was basically trying to chase or conquer my fear. And, you know, fucking, to me, it's kind of like a metaphor of life. And what I mean by metaphor, it's like, if I can't conquer this, what makes me think in life I can conquer that? So it's also a way of shedding the old to the new. So this is me, and after I hit that, it's not the fame or anything, that it's the mentality you're gonna gain after hitting that spot, because then you're gonna build some type of confidence, especially if you hit it right. And even if you do not hit it right, it's a lesson to learn, you know, and fucking, no matter what, it's a win-win, you know. So I just wanted to learn to master all different type of spots, you know, especially, let's just say with bridges, you know, like you got to understand when you're on that ledge, and if you're trying to do it for the people that are driving or they're going to see the spot, they don't have that much time to see that spot. You only have like a 5 to 10 second gap unless they're stuck in traffic, but then again, it's like 15 seconds, bro. So if you go out too crazy, one, they won't read that shit. But then even if you're not doing it for them to read your name, they're not going to get to appreciate all the little details you did up there. So, you know, see, shit like that, I didn't know before. Nobody could explain that to me back then, but I learned that due to experiences. Billboards. At first, it started off with chasing certain ads, you know, trying to learn on how to use a color palette to incorporate your work on the billboard. And then after that, once I started, actually not long ago, I guess a billboard did not have an ad on it, and I saw something from 12 years ago, and I was like, how the fuck is that shit still there? Clicked in my mind, and I was like, oh, that's right. When you take it off, there's the, you know, backboard. So, you know, shit like that is just due to experiences and shit. You know, you learn a little bit from everything. So that's kind of why I've also been going around ripping down billboards, because I was like, oh, those run. Obviously, within time, it's not going to be able to run, but at least I know. Once again, it goes back to that recipe I just said earlier, which is you got to do your little fucking normal ones or your little small ones everywhere. So as of right now, most people don't even know I have more than fucking a certain amount of billboards, and they're all hidden behind an ad. And there's gonna be a day, once I drop the nukes, go rip them all off in one day, guess what? It doesn't matter which way you look, you're gonna see me. And I'm gonna make sure if you ever fucking did say anything negative, no matter what, you're gonna see me, you're gonna hear from me, and you're gonna fucking you're gonna have that human experience of like, damn, I should have never said that about him, you know? I want to make sure people eat their words.
Just to be clear, you've been going around the city painting billboards all across Los Angeles, and one day you're just gonna rip the billboard off from their stand and we're gonna see you up all over the city.
Exactly.
You've planned that far ahead.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible, man. Thank you. Now, another question I'd like to ask you is, once you complete a billboard, do you pass by them every day? Do you like looking at your work? Or do you just forget about it and move on to the next?
Depends. Most time I try to move on. Obviously, it gets always brought back to me whenever I'm around peers, you know, like they'll either criticize or fucking kind of just show me exactly what it is I did or maybe didn't do on it. Well, most times I try to just move forward. Like, I don't try to pay attention because at the end of the day, I got to experience that, you know. Everyone else is just observing it from social media or a picture. Like, I got to enjoy creating that, so I have you know, a different experience, you know, and not all spots play out exactly the same. Some are more pressured, some are sketchier to get up to, some are more brighter than others, some have more flow of traffic on it, you know, or more cops on that street. Some have the cameras, some have those fucking heroes walking around, you know, so you really don't know, you know, exactly what you're going to run into with every spot. But I tried not to look back. I try to just keep moving forward, because at the end of the day, these are not the nukes, you know, these are not my best of my ability. These are just the normals that, you know, no matter what you see, you're going to see me, because the real shit has yet not been done yet, and it is coming.
BUGE, you're very prolific in your missions. Your art is beautiful. Your name always looks great. But when doing research for this interview, I noticed on your social media you have no videos, almost no pictures. Why is that? You're a prolific writer. You have beautiful work, but you don't seem to display it.
I think I used to do that before, but then even then I try not to post it, just due to the fact, like, I rather keep things to myself. And then now I try not to, just this could also be my experience, but then again, like I've said, also social media can ruin people, you know. Like, some people are fucking literally always just stuck on their phone, man, like waiting for them likes, waiting for them comments, trying to see who's viewing them, you know. And to me, that shit is like kind of toxic, bro. You know, I don't think I've ever really had a good conversation with somebody without them ever having to look at their phone, you know. So to me, it's kind of like I'm contradicting myself. If I don't like that, then why am I doing it, you know? And then not only that, I've also learned from the past to not give out too much information. And by information, I mean like strategies or certain things you're doing, and it's not to gatekeep from people. It's just, I believe in certain, let's just say, in certain methods of, like, let's say energy. If you tell someone something before you even do it, you don't know exactly who that person may be. They could either put negative or positive energy to that idea. Maybe I'm just fucking tripping, but, you know, there is a lot of people with bad intentions, and, you know, word also does get around, so it's better to just kind of isolate those ideas until they're properly executed, you know. And it's also a way to keep people on their toes, or not to kind of be more excited on what it is, you know, that just came out, instead of just saying it, you know. Because it also does suck whenever you say something. Either it can be someone else could have ends up doing it before you, you know, or you're all talk. You get me? So instead of saying anything or even showing anything, I'd rather just, you know, be quiet, because in reality, real killers move in silence, you know?
BUGE, can you estimate how many billboards you've painted in your long career?
Shit, bro. I have no fucking idea. And I think I just got that question asked to me the other night, and I really, not in a bad way, I really just don't care, you know? It's not like a trophy to me. If anything, I think the trophy is like getting away, you know? Like, hell yeah, like, I did it, boom, move on to the next one, you know? It's a fucking thrill.
When looking at your billboards or scoping out the location, do you plan the billboard for days? Do you just do a quick investigation and get up there? Or how do you plan your missions?
Even just not billboards, but particularly with anything, it really depends, you know? There's always those spots that, you know, like, just catch your attention, you know, and you just wanna fucking marinate in that shit, you know, like season it right, you know. You just don't want it to be some quick processed food, you know, that just, boom, I hit it and that's it, you know. Like, you want to take your time on that shit and fucking really enjoy the process and fucking incorporate your work very well, you know. And then there's some spots, you know, like, I already know, like, you know, my mind or my mission is this one, but I have a little time for this, so fuck it, let's just execute it right now, you know. Like, it's either one of those spots that I already know, one, it's gonna get buffed, or this building's getting torn down, or fucking, you know, like, it's not the best to be wasting all this paint on, you know. Like, no, you know, stick to the recipe, my boy. Like, fucking, if you want to hit that shit, but put all your main focus on this big idea right here, you know.
You've been all over the city in your career, man. What do you feel has been the most dangerous location you've ever painted? And what made it so dangerous?
I'm sure there's a lot that come into my head, but the one it just never leaves my head is this one bridge that I hit. It's right there where, like, literally the 60, I think it's the 5 and the 101 freeway all intersect each other, and there's like a bunch of major bridges right there. And there's one that has, like, it's like a bridge that's like kind of like 5 stories up or a little higher than that. I might be mistaken, but the ledge is it's the smallest ledge I've ever been on. Like that, most ledges are either half a foot or bigger, and that one was a little bit less than half a foot. And then every 6 feet you have like a hole you can stick your finger in to hold on. And also, whenever a semi truck or 18-wheeler, whatever you want to call them, passes by, the bridge also shakes. And that's just like one of the biggest, I mean, a fear of mine right there. Being up that high and just experiencing all those things at once, you're just like, what the fuck? And I've had other crazy experiences, but that one, for some reason, you know, because I just remember this is when I was on my bridge diet, I guess I would call it. And I went out with my boy Slot, you know, and Slot's about that shit, you know. And I'm over here trying to keep up with them. And we also went with Rask from LTS, and you know, he introduced us to the spot, you know, and he was talking like he was just saying how major and how important this particular bridge was, you know, and that only whatever legends have hit this shit, you know. So I'm like, shit, you know, like I gotta bring my A game on this one, you know. And he takes us there. I have no idea, you know. And I look, I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah, I'm good, you know. But you know, he starts telling me a story about how he took one of his crewmates on that shit, and he's like, I lost respect for that guy. And I was like, oh man, like I don't want that to be me. So I was like, I don't know what to do. Little do I know, I already see Slot going up the ladder, you know, and shimmying to the other side. I'm like, oh fuck. And I guess Rask goes next, you know, and you know, obviously, you know, he's a little older now, and not in the same as he once was when he was younger. And you know, I'm climbing up the ladder like fuck it, you know, and then I just feel someone step on my hand, and it's Rask, and he's like, you know what, I'm good, I think I'm gonna just chill for this one. And I'm like, in my head I was like, oh no, this guy fucking, you know, fucking mastered this bridge, and he's coming down. He's like, nah, fuck that, how the fuck am I gonna do it, you know? And now my fucking, you know, in my head, I'm going like, oh no, like, how am I gonna fucking accomplish this one? Like, how do I get out of this situation without looking like a bitch, you know? And I'm like, fuck, I guess I'm just gonna have to do it. There we go, me and Slot going down the bridge, you know? And there was nobody on that side right there. Like, literally, this is before anybody popped it off and shit. Somehow, some way, I managed fucking making that spot happen, but I've never been like literally like chest against the fucking bridge wall, whatever you want to call it, and fucking, you know, been up that high and then just holding on to one little hole, you know, to fucking paint that spot right there. And then while the fucking semi trucks pass by, and that shit's just like going up and down, you know, and every time you hear the semi trucks pass by, you hold on to your dear life, you know. And I'm like, fuck this shit. But it was definitely one of the best views I've ever seen of LA, you know. Like, literally, you just see the reflection on the bridge, and then I see my boy Slot right there just painting LA in the back, you know. And I was like, shit, you know, like, that's dope, you know. Like, this is, I'm glad I fucking got up here, you know, because sometimes I think we all create our own fear, you know. In reality, fear does not exist. And I think those are the best moments I like right there, where you conquer your fear and you realize, like, really, this is what the fuck I was scared of? This is nothing, you know?
Wow, man, incredible. Just an incredible story of risk-taking. Now, you also mentioned that you had your bridge era. Why were you only focusing on bridges?
So it goes back down to exactly what I said earlier. You know, people always want to test you, you know. And someone said, oh, you're not about that life, you know. And that shit really got me pumped up. Like, oh, all right. You know, and it was, I don't want to say this individual's name just because I do give respects to this dude no matter what. He is a big killer. And fucking, you know, fucking has hit some fucking gnarly spots, you know. Before the whole rappel game even fucking started, like, this dude was fucking, you know, me and this, I can't say me and this dude, but I'm just saying, I know this dude as well as me, we did this shit before ropes and shit. We're just climbing up shit, you know. And if anything, it's dope because this individual has a way more of a simpler style than I do, you know. We're both kind of on the same thing, but he did it his way and I did it my way, you know. And he was dating an individual that, you know, my photographer at the time. And yeah, I just remember asking, you know, like, hey bro, like, why'd you guys just do tags up there? Like, why didn't you guys do fucking you know, something sick up there? That's a sick spot, you know. And he's like, oh, because, you know, cops rolled up on us at nighttime, you know. And he's like, don't question something you don't know if you're not about that life. And I was like, oh, like that? So I was like, oh, you did it at nighttime, right? And you did a tag? All right, cool. I went right there and then. It was daytime, you know. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this shit right now in front of you. Well, not in front of him, but in front of homegirl, you know, to let him know. And, yeah, fucking went up there and I did a fucking, it was an outline, but it was like a nice little bomb / like kind of like burner licking and shit. But that's when I realized, like, oh shit, maybe, you know, he's right, because I was up there and I couldn't pull myself up, you know. My arms got died out and I didn't realize, like, oh shit, like, yeah, you need strength for this shit, you know? And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like this close to telling homegirl to call the firefighters because I was like, I can't get down, you know? Somehow I found some energy within myself and just threw myself over the roof, you know? And that was my first experience. And just knowing the fact it was challenging, I was like, ooh, I want more of this. Like, I want to see how far I can take it, you know? And especially with him just saying that, you know? I was like, man, I could do better than that, you know? But just shit like that is very motivating, and no matter what, I still respect anybody, even if they talk down, because at the end of the day, that's what ends up bringing the best out of me. So it's like, why would I disrespect somebody that fucking, you know, helped me evolve to the next level, you know? I'd rather just appreciate, even if we do not see eye to eye or have the same perspective on things or respect each other, but at the end of the day, like, it's fine, yo. Like, I appreciate you for saying that because it got me to experience this new method, you know?
It feels like in this current era, you're focusing more on billboards. Is that safe to say?
I think as of right now, just due to the fact that, you know, this little, I guess, hack or loop that I seen, you know, that someone wasn't taking advantage of, you know? I can say that there is older heads that have hit the back of the ads because they're still there, you know. I've gone to certain billboards and yeah, there some shit from the 08s or 2000s are still running in there, you know, and I try to leave it alone, you know. There's some that I have exposed, you know, because I ended up just ripping the whole thing, and obviously some have resurfaced back. But as of right now, it's like, okay, you know, no one knows about this. So it's like, fuck it, let's just take advantage and just hit as many as we can. And then once we're ready, just fucking rip them all down, you know? Because I think we and Homeboy Sonic made a video with Homeboy Asi, another killer right there. Fucking, we're ripping it off. No one understands why we're doing it, you know? Like, I don't get it. Why did I just hit the advertisement, you know? Or incorporate your work like this crew, and it's like, you don't get it yet. You're gonna see, you know, and you know, I'm gonna giving you an insight of exactly what's about to happen, because at the end of the day, I'm not really tripping if anybody else kind of jumps into it, because I already know how many I have. So it's like, well, good luck with that, and if you do go over my shit, I'll know. So that's the only main reason why I'm on billboards right now. And obviously right now, this is like the best season to hit them, just due to the fact that it's Halloween, you know. There's a lot of fucking movies coming out right now, you know. That's usually around the time that film productions start releasing certain films. So yeah, right now, I mean, it's kind of dope, you know. But I guess take advantage of them because they're slowly starting to put cameras due to the fact that we're ripping them off, you know.
Really? Thank you for the tip. Another question is, what has been your favorite billboard that you've caught? Because you have many running. Each one is either your name or a forced collaboration.
So my favorite one, I think this is a little too back in the days, but definitely to this day, I still kind of look at that one right there, and it's a one. I call it Shredder. The reason I call it Shredder is because I made my piece look like it's ripping in and out of a regular ad. And this was a time where, like, this is around 2014, and those that were around that time know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you would drive down any street at night, you're gonna run into someone painting billboard. This was like the highlight of billboard era, you know. And once again, not gonna name or mention certain names, but there's a particular individuals that, you know, I was kind of going at it with, even without saying anything. We knew we were going at it, and once I talked to one of the individuals, I knew, like, yo, like, yeah, we're trying to outdo you, you know. I was like, all right. So I knew I wasn't, you know, like, making this shit up in my head, fucking. So this is a time, like, whoever does it first, you know. And there's this group, and then there's my group, you know. And these dudes are pushing, you know, and you just gotta push harder. Then they push harder, then, you know. And it's dope to know when I ran into the one individual, not the other one, at least to know that they respected that. Like, damn, man, like, it was dope, you know, even though we didn't paint together, to know that, you know, like, oh shit, what is this fool gonna do next? Because I want to go harder than him. And then when I thought I went harder than you, you ended up fucking pushing it to the next one, you know? So it was dope, and I respect that individual for that. And also an innovator in the billboards. He definitely did certain things that weren't done yet, and I give him mad props for that shit. And the individual I'm talking about, I'll mention this dude just because I do respect him for that shit, is A-God right there from RKOTS right there. And once again, the particular billboard that I was still speaking about is just the fact that, one, me personally, I have never seen anyone take up a ladder on a billboard, you know? And then not only that, everyone was always trying to execute the sick looking advertisements, you know? They wanted those, you know, the ones with the fire, or the fucking, you know, the guns, or the new big movie that's coming out, you know? And I was like, damn, nobody's hitting all these cheap ads, you know? And I was like, well, you know, they're not that creative to fucking mess with one of these. I was like, fucking, this is my time to show how creative I am, you know? So I was like, fuck it, you know, like, I'm gonna just do my name right there, and I'm gonna try to make it look like it's coming in and out of the billboard. No installations, it was just me painting, you know, ripped effect and fire effect on it. And not only that, it did, at this time, I was a very slow painter, so this was, you know, 2 nights that it took me, and not only that, I had to go up and down the ladder. This is my first experience ever doing that, and not only that, I mean, maybe, yeah, of course, my style could have been way better, but definitely was one of those that I was definitely felt accomplished for, you know, because even though cops did roll up and didn't flash up the lights and, you know, kept circling around, I still came back same day. I mean, it's, you know, a few hours later, kept going. Didn't finish, kept going again the next day, and fucking, you know, I executed it, you know, and I didn't think I had it in me to be able to do something like that, and that's when I realized that anything is possible, you know?
BUGE, you've hit so many billboards throughout your long career. Has a helicopter ever shined their lights on you in the middle of painting? And what do you do when that happens?
Actually, yeah, that has happened a few times, actually. Only, there's one time that I can honestly remember, and it was me and another individual were painting on a ledge and on a roof. And I know you asked if on the billboard it's had happened, but this particular one is like, I don't know, I think one of the dopest ones that I experienced. It was fuck, I forgot that street right there. It's something with a B, I forgot. It's like a hood area, you know, so everyone was kind of tripping out, like, how'd you get away with that shit, you know? And not only that, like, it was like on the side of a fucking building. You're like kind of like putting your hands up on the roof, and then you got like a little ledge you're just standing on, and it's a piece of wood, it's breaking too, you know? Me and my boy were like fucking kind of chipping it off, and then, you know, we already knew, you know, cops are gonna see us, you know, but we're willing to take that risk. Right when we finish, of course, what happens? A cop fucking busts a U-turn and fucking flashes the light up there. And you know, we fucking get on the roof, you know, and I guess he called other units, and they fucking, you know, another one goes to the, they all go to the back because they already knew that's the only way down. And then, you know, when you hear the helicopter coming, and it has like a certain sound, like it sounds like it's coming towards you, we knew like, oh shit, we have a few seconds before it fucking comes here. And me, from past experience, I was like, fucking shit, like, I think I should just stay up here. Every time I've ever left the spot is when I get fucking caught. So I was like, nah, I should stay. And he's like, nah, let's get the fuck out of here. And the only way out was either through the back, and there was nowhere through the front, but there was a light pole, and it was high up. Like, this was 2 or 3 stories and shit. And you know, my homeboy is a very like, you know, he's a climber and everything like that, you know. And he's like, fuck it, we're gonna have to fucking jump from the roof. Like, you're kind of like this, the building, street, and then there's a pole. We're gonna have to run, jump, and fucking, you know, grab onto the fucking pole and just slide down. And I was like, shit, okay. And he does it first. He made it look like it was easy as fuck. And then, of course, you know, my turn, and I fucking do it. I do it, and once I grab on, I fucking just slap my head to the fucking pole and then fucking slide down. And I guess there was, you know, when they put flags on the poles, that shit just fucking cuts me up. But I get down safely, though, and I was like, shit, you know, I mean, you don't have time to think about that shit, you know, your adrenaline's rushing. The minute I cross over that street, boom, the whole spot gets fucking lit up, you know? And I was just looking back like, holy shit, if I did not do that, that was it for me, you know? You just see the firefighters coming, fucking put the ladders up, they're looking up there, and we're like long gone, you know? Fucking, and I think that was just one of like the most successful, yet like kind of dope ones, you know? I think if you were to see the spot, you'd be like, what the fuck? You jump from there to there? That's insane, you know?
Incredible story of escape. Incredible. Thank you so much. BUGE, would you consider yourself the greatest billboard bomber ever?
Not at all, man. Not at all. There's a lot of people before me that have definitely have taken it to a whole different level and have innovated the game. And at the same time, as I would say, you know, I don't see everybody as kind of like status and shit. And I think I'm in my own lane, and I'm trying to figure out my own way of handling it, because at the same time, there's still certain ways that a billboard has not been hit yet, you know, and there's a lot of creative and innovative ways to still change the game, and I think that's what I'm kind of trying to look for to kind of make my stamp. There has been certain ideas that, yeah, I did have, you know, and obviously someone else beat me to the punch. I don't knock down on them or anything like that. And then not only that, the people before us, you know, that have truly incorporated their works with the billboards and that are the most iconic billboards at this time, you know, I give mad respects to them. You know, they kind of, you know, paved the way for all of us, you know, that are hitting them now, you know. And, you know, I'm not, as much as it may seem like, oh, you know, all he's doing is billboards. It's just the fact that, you know, it's just they're everywhere, you know. And it's not that hard to just fucking climb up one, and now you have, you know, once you rip it off, you got yourself a clean canvas instead of fucking driving around everywhere trying to hit certain spots or, you know, just bomb everything. Like, oh shit, you know, I got a nice canvas, it's up high, no matter what, someone's gonna see it, you're good, you know. Even if it's not for someone to see, you know, like, I just like the, you know, just painting it, you know. But once again, definitely don't see myself as the best, you know, but I hope to soon, very soon, come up with one of the most either innovating or creative ideas that has ever been done on a billboard. And I know right now that's a very tough spot to fucking fulfill, but there are definitely more than just other ways of doing it, you know. And I hope to bring that to the table very soon as I get this little phase out of my life of bombing, you know.
BUGE, you're up everywhere in Los Angeles. There's no doubt about it. Do you recall a moment when you said to yourself, hey, you know what? I'm pretty known. Does that ever enter your mind as to the impact you've made in Los Angeles graffiti history?
Once again, try to not see that, you know. I think I've always had homies telling me, you know, like, that either speak up for me or fucking, you know, hype me up like that. I'm not the person to kind of do that, you know. And I try to stay as incognito as I can. But You know, I think one time, this is back when I was on Instagram like that, fucking, I think, you know, it was just one time, you know, fucking, I think I asked people to show exactly how I influenced them and to see the reactions I got, you know, from different parts of the country, and to see where a lot of people were coming from and how they interpreted the style I was doing at the time, you know, like how that inspired them or certain videos did. That shit definitely hit me right there, you know, like, oh shit, there is a lot of eyes on me like that, you know. And I'm not talking about no fucking 50 or 100 fucking, you know, people sending me some shit. I know I'm talking about a shit ton, and I'm sure to this day, if I were to look at my DMs, there's people probably either asking me like, hey, you know, like, how do you do this, how do you do that, or look at this work that I did, you're the biggest influence or something like that, you know. And it's very appreciative, you know. I still cannot wrap my head around the fact that someone could see me like that, because it felt like not that long ago, you know, I was trying to be like the individuals I was seeing on certain videos or on the street, you know. So to me, know that I have impacted certain people's life is definitely a crazy feeling. And hopefully with what I'm saying right now, I hope to inspire other individuals to not just do graffiti just because of fame or fucking attention, because in reality, like, you know, you're gonna go through withdrawals, my boy, trying to fucking, you know, get them likes and comments, you know, but really go in it for the craft, you know, fucking enjoy the process, my boy. Rather, if you want to do it legally or illegally, no matter which way you go, you're gonna fucking have fun, you know. And especially if you're very into art or creative shit, yes, this is an art. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Art is not something that you see in a museum. Art is just doing. That's all it is, you know. And technically, as long as you're doing yourself, that is art, my boy. So enjoy the process, have fun. There is no right way of doing graffiti. Will I say understand the letters you're doing? Definitely, but there's no right way. Just enjoy the process, man. If you're gonna go out in the street, kill that shit, have fun, try to fucking change the game, try to fucking or keep trying to outdo yourself every single time you go out there. And if you're gonna fucking do some legal shit, yo, make sure you fucking do some fucking sick fucking shit. Don't sugarcoat your shit. Stop fucking half-assing walls, you know. If you got that much time, fucking go hard as fuck, you know. Like, stop fucking, yeah, just don't fucking do some shit you could easily do illegally. Then if not, just do that shit illegal, bro. So yeah.
BUGE, in more recent news, there's been worldwide attention about the Oceanwide Plaza skyscrapers in downtown Los Angeles. Do you recall first hearing about the towers?
Correct.
Did you think about catching a spot on the towers? Why didn't you go up there?
I actually did go in there, but it wasn't my place or time. I honestly wouldn't even want to speak about the towers because technically I didn't do anything there. Do I have a spot in there? Of course, but it wasn't for me. It looked like this was meant for other people, you know, and it was dope to see a lot of individuals that honestly I haven't either seen paint in a while or I haven't heard of paint it. And not only that, just see how everyone kind of got together and fucking, you know, made something historical. That's what I find dope. To this day, fucking congrats to Hopes. I don't care what anybody says. That's the sixth spot right there, and I'm happy to know a Valley Rider fucking got that shit. And yeah, I mean, that's for other people right there, you know. At the end of the day, there's so many other spots all around LA, and not only that, around LA, fucking around the world that still haven't been done yet. So someone's got to do them, and I guess that tower was for other individuals, and I'd rather let them have that one, you know. Can't always fucking be on the spotlight, you know. Gotta let someone else enjoy that shit as well.
Understood. BUGE. Now I want to move on to some personal questions about yourself, if you don't mind. First, starting with, whose opinion of your graph do you value the most? Is there someone who can evaluate your work and you won't take it personally, or someone with that type of voice that you
Definitely
trust?
my boy Sov right there. Like I said, that's the wizard of letters right there, my boy. Like, you know, I definitely always got to hear him out. And I think whenever I kind of doubt myself, or maybe I want to make you know, I need it to be reinsured, I definitely, you know, look towards his way. You know, he fucking has nothing but wisdom, you know. I think all peers from my crew, I definitely would never take anything personal. If anything, I always definitely try to seek a lot of their perspective, just because there's times where, like, I'm like, shit, you know, like, I really don't know if this is the right direction to go. So, you know, I know my crew will never let me down, and I understand that every individual has their own ways of seeing things, but it's always good to, you know they got your back. You know, I definitely appreciate Solve a lot. I definitely appreciate Copy a lot. I definitely appreciate there's so many. I can go on for like a whole hour trying to fucking name everybody in the crew, but as of right now, particularly when it comes to the creative side, or maybe how to handle certain, I guess, artistic situations, they're definitely the people to go to for sure.
BUGE, in your opinion, what's been the most challenging part about your graffiti career?
I think the most challenging part is maintaining it, you know, and as you continue going up the ladder, not only that, you know, as I said, you know, I started at a young age, and I mean, not that young, but, you know, I didn't have the responsibilities that I had now, and I never thought any of those things would ever come, you know. And, you know, I think it's the biggest challenge is maintaining a balance, making sure you don't forget about reality, and making sure you don't fucking forget about graffiti, because it is very important to maintain both of them, because if one of them goes wrong, that's it. You're gonna put all your attention on that one, and you're gonna lose the attention of the other one, you know. Like, let's say if you're not getting up, but you're paying too much of reality, like, you're nobody anymore in graffiti, you know. And if you put too much effort into graffiti, your reality starts to go crumble, you know. If you're putting too much, you know, you're forgetting the financial, you're forgetting your friends, your family, all your loved ones, you're forgetting your home, you know. Like, it's a balance, you know. And I think that was my biggest challenge at first, you know. And I think slowly but surely I'm starting to understand and maintain both of them, you know. And it's still a struggle. It's, I think, one of my biggest struggles right there, you know. I don't try to pay attention to what others say, or pay attention to what's going on over there, over here, or what people are doing on Instagram, you know. If anything, I just really want to know, how can I balance both of these and make sure, you know, they're both, you know, well balanced and satisfied, you know. That's my biggest challenge right there.
What do you feel has been your biggest accomplishment in graffiti so far?
You know, I've gone through many different accomplishments, but I think my biggest accomplishment right now and yet to come is, as much as I got mad love for my crew, I have never really painted with them as much as I have been since I've been back. I would maybe see some of them no more than like 10 times a year, you know? And now it's like, hell yeah, like we're all moving as a unit. And that has brought, like, has been fucking a good feeling right there, you know, to roll side by side by the same crewmates, you know, that either inspired you or are up and coming and fucking trying to get it as well. And, you know, to hear the conversations we have now to come before, and to know that this is the direction the directions we're trying to go to, that we're gonna need to do all these things, and that everyone is on board on that shit, you know. And if anything, that to me feels like my biggest accomplishment. Yet there's other things I can say, but to be honest, like I've always wanted that, you know, was to be around other self-driven, motivated, creative, and innovating individuals as my peers. So to have that, you know, is fucking amazing. And now talking about all the new goals that we have or want to do now, to me, I feel like I'm winning, you know, like that's all I wanted, you know, and that's my circle now. And I want to execute all these ideas with them, you know, and yeah, I'm appreciative of that.
Is there anything in your career you wish you would have done differently?
Definitely. If I could, I mean, there's so many things I could definitely go back and change. But at the end of the day, it's in the past already. I'm in the present moment, you know, and yeah, I wish, instead of thinking too much of the past, in the past, I wish I would have been more in the present. Exactly like right now, I could have my mind thinking about what I did, what I did not say, or fucking all these things. But right now, I'm just more appreciative to be right here, right now.
BUGE, we appreciate you joining us, man. We've been huge fans of yours for years. It's great to have you in studio, bro. It's been a great interview so far. Now, I want to focus on the current era in graffiti. What are your feelings on today's culture? Do you see any differences in graffiti from the time that you started till now?
Hell fucking yeah. That shit has definitely changed, you know. I think there's a lot of people that are doing it for the wrong reasons, man, or don't have someone to kind of tell them the ropes, you know. And yeah, I don't know, you know, maybe I'm being too harsh, but you know, I grew up looking to some fucking game-changing fucking graffiti, you know, so that's what we looked up to, you know. And fucking I feel like sometimes a lot of the newcomers have no respect, or you know, just don't give a fuck about anything anymore. And it's like kind of just a little too sloppy for me, you know. And I'm not trying to be that asshole, but it needs to be said, you know. And at the end of the day, fuck it, if they don't like me, they don't like me. I don't give a shit. But I just think people need to fucking, like, if you're kind of, like, goes back down to exactly what Mom Duke said, you know, if you're gonna do something, do that shit right.
Definitely. BUGE, again, you've had a long history in Los Angeles. Can you name some of the female writers that have caught your eye? Have you ever been writing with any well-known female writers? Do any come to mind?
No.
Understood. Now, BUGE, where do you see graffiti going in the future? Do you have any thoughts about that as what you see over the horizon?
As much as I would love to speak on that one particular question right there, I would be giving away a couple of the ideas that are coming up in the future.
Wow, excited to hear what's coming up, man. We're definitely going to be checking you out in the future. Thank you for the heads up. Now, also, BUGE, how would you like to be remembered in Los Angeles graffiti history? Have you given any thoughts to that? When people view this video 10, 20 years from now, how would you like to be remembered?
I mean, shit. The one word that comes into my mind is innovator. But then again, an innovator will never get credit for all the things he brings to the game. It's usually someone else that would take credit. And that's fine with me. Fuck it, it is what it is at this point, you know? As long as I make all these ideas come to life, as much as I wish I could start saying certain things that I have brought to the game, if you recognize, you recognize, and that's that, you know? And if you know, you know.
BUGE.
Of course, I would, shit. Can we cut this part right now?
No, it's good, man. You're doing great. BUGE. Now, I always ask our guests to give us their top 5 all-time list or their Mount Rushmore of writers. Can you please give us your top 5 list? No particular order.
Definitely has to be my boy Krabs. Definitely my boy Solve. Definitely has to be fucking Copy. Most definitely. Gotta give it to Zesser, bro. Like, the way he stretches that shit out, beast. Last one. I mean, fuck it, shit. I guess give it to Oggs.
An incredible legendary list. Thank you, man, for sharing that with us. Now, again, as I said before, we hope people are going to see this interview 10, 20, 30 years from now. If you could say anything to future generation of writers watching, what would it be?
Kill that shit. Keep fucking graffiti alive. And by what I mean by alive is fucking just go out there and fucking show what you got, you know? Fucking fuck what anybody says. Fuck what anyone sees in you. Just do you and fucking go hard as fuck. Try to execute better than you did the day before. Try to be the best version of yourself. No matter what, stay growing. Don't ever get comfortable. Always try to feel the pressure. And if you already fucking made a bunch of home runs at your own home, move on. Travel to a new place. There's always other places to execute, you know? But no matter what, don't stop. Go hard and fucking execute. That's all I can really say.
BUGE, thank you so much. The time has just flown by for this interview. We appreciate you sharing your long history. Now, before we end the interview, would you like to give any shout outs to anyone? This is your time.
Gotta give a shout out to Homeboy Zoner from BAMC. About to conquer the Asia continent, you know, the fucking that side of fucking town. I can't wait to see what he's about to fucking drop. And gotta give a shout out to my boy Yano. At the end of the day, that dude has looked out for me from day one, dog, you know? And I got mad respect and love for that dude. I haven't spoken to him in a good minute, but respects to that dude right there for being there for me. And as always, gotta give a shout out to my fucking whole crew, fucking, you know, homeboy the Aussie right now. Next was next to batter up. Homie's about to fucking, hit that home run soon, fucking dope to see how fast he's growing and progressing in the game. Definitely shouting out to all the fucking haters. Shit, I miss them shit, talking shit, fucking, definitely need more of that shit, cause I need some more fuel in me. And as always, fucking shout out to my crew, just big B's all day, BAMC all day. Born a mental case, burning all my competition.
Hell yeah. BUGE, thank you so much again for joining us and sharing your legendary career in the streets of Los Angeles. We wish you the best going forward and hope to have you back in the future for an update. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in this episode of GRAFFTV. This has been the notorious street killer and innovator, BUGE BAM.